Welcome back. Disconnect. YouTube. Press play.
Dressed as the park's cheerful mascot, Happy Pup. It wasn't uncommon for people to get overheated and collapse in the heavy suits on hot days. But one thing was different here. He was screaming, crying, and trying desperately to remove his mask.
Cool. Talking okay for a second, just in case if you're wondering why I don't show you the foundation, it's because I'm still building it. Of course, I did a couple of SCPs in that foundation and the character's office, but I'm still building it. No, it's not on ground. I will show you it in the next video. Or, at the end of this video, I'll show you what I mean. But until then, no. 3, 2, 1, action.
People rushed to help, but nobody could get the suit off, and he was declared dead soon after. When he was eventually cut out of the suit, coroners found that the employee had choked to death. His mouth, trachea, and lungs were filled with a fibrous substance later determined to be identical to the stuff in his costume. An intense roller coaster known as the Thriller Chiller was a magnet for horrific accidents, which became more violent and intense over time. The first accident seemed like a typical theme park tragedy. A safety harness failed, dropping a rider 15 feet during an inverted move. They landed on the track below, breaking their neck and skull, causing instant death. While this was a tragedy, it wasn't exactly anomalous, but the next major accident on the ride was an entirely different story. This time, 15 people met with disaster while riding the Thriller Chiller roller coaster. Starting from the front and moving back one car at a time, each group of riders was decapitated by blunt force trauma. A new pair of decapitations appeared to happen at every turn and loop on the ride. Forensic scientists still have no idea how this could have possibly occurred. Despite all of these disasters, the park was only finally abandoned after a day known as Bloody Sunday, when the anomalous powers of the location reached a 20-year peak. It's believed that 231 people were killed during the carnage of that day, and another 7 were horribly maimed. The SCP Foundation contained the Carnival of Horrors not long after, but the mysterious deaths didn't even end there. Foundation Mobile Task Force Row 71, also known as the Origami Toads, were sent in to assess containment procedures and discover the source of all the anomalous deaths. They were unsuccessful though, and instead they merely added to the list in exceptionally horrifying ways. One agent was found dead, surrounded by empty grenades and bullet casings. It appeared he'd removed the explosive propellant from all of his ballistics and consumed it, dying in the process. Another was found with his jaw broken, having apparently pulled out and inhaled his own teeth, and dying of the resulting internal damage. The commander got the worst fate of all, so horrifying in fact that we can't tell you the full details. All you need to know is that something was shoved into his brain that really didn't belong there. The Foundation considered having the entire park destroyed with a massive airstrike, courtesy of the Mobile Task Force New 7, aka Hammerdown. However, the O5 Council denied this request, on the basis that the park was too close to populated land. They'd have no plausible cover story for the bombing, and they don't even really know if blowing up the park would prevent anomalous activity from occurring. The Carnival of Horrors is here to stay, folks. The Foundation just hopes to keep it from getting new visitors. So then back to why the researchers want this place upgraded to Keter. After all, these classifications aren't about how dangerous an anomaly is. They're about how difficult and complicated they are to contain. But here's the problem. According to the researchers, the red zone, where the dangerous anomalous activity is at its peak, isn't bound to one fixed position. It's changed position at least 3 times already, and even appears to be growing. Not seemingly so Euclid class now, is it? After all, you might not even need to visit the Carnival of Horrors to be in grave danger. If it keeps growing, then someday soon, the Carnival of Horrors may be visiting you. The year is 1941, and the world is gripped by the most violent and widespread war in history. Millions march to war as bloody battles are fought across the globe. Horrendous atrocities are carried out on groups of people, and parts of London are bombed to rubble on a weekly basis. Considering it's only been 20 years since the last World War, it must seem to the early residents of the early 20th century that the world is coming apart at the seams. And amongst the chaos, it'd be easy not to notice a secluded manor house in the English countryside disappearing without a trace for 11 days, before suddenly returning against them. It's summer vacation and you're a kid. You and your friends are playing in the woods near your neighborhood, just like you've been doing most days during the break from school. One day you spot a treehouse. It's not that high off the ground, and it's very simply built from leaves, grass, and scraps of wood. You and your friends are curious, so you decide to check it out. Upon investigation, you find a kid in there. He says his name is Billy, and this is his treehouse. You don't recognize him from school, but you figure he just must be new in town. He asks if he can join your group, and wanting to be nice to the new kid, you tell him, okay. You spend the rest of the day playing with him, games like hide and seek, tag, and Red Rover, until it's time for everyone to go home for dinner. Strangely, Billy doesn't seem to leave. He just stays in his treehouse. For the rest of the week, playing with Billy in his treehouse become a regular fixture of your daily routine. But oddly enough, he never comes to hang out at any of your houses, and you never seem to see him anywhere else but in the woods. One day, however, he decides to invite one of your friends, Amy, to hang out with him at the treehouse alone. You think nothing of it, but after that point, you never see Billy again. It's a couple of weeks before you and your friend see Amy again, and when you do, she appears off somehow. She seems to be spending a lot of time in that treehouse. Billy has disappeared, but you and Amy and the rest of the kids keep meeting up to play together in the woods. One day, Amy pulls you aside. She wants you to come and meet with her tomorrow at the treehouse, alone. This is typically how an SCP-974 infestation begins, with a mysterious new kid inviting a group of friends to hang out in this crudely made treehouse. But as you might have guessed, this kid isn't a kid. He's SCP-974, a carnivorous monster that only looks like a human child. It can live on small woodland animals, but its preferred prey is kids between the ages of 6 and 12, taking the phrase, "you are what you eat," to the next level. The entity will install itself in an area with a sufficient amount of trees, in proximity to a decent population of children. It will then construct a crude treehouse to serve as its nest, and begin befriending groups of between 2 and 5 children. The creature will engage in normal outdoor games and allow its new friends to come and go as they please, building the trust of its newfound playmates. But then, after about a week, it will select its victim. SCP-974 will single out one member of the group and invite them to the treehouse alone. Whether they accept or deny the invitation is irrelevant, because this is the point where SCP-974 will strike, subduing and then devouring that child. After doing so, the creature will disappear from the area, going into a state of hibernation for roughly 12 days. During that time, it goes through a period of metamorphosis, transforming from whoever it looked like before into an exact likeness of the child it just consumed. SCP-974 will continue this cycle of selecting and catching prey until there are no children left in the surrounding area. While it's initially friendly to children, SCP-974 has an intense fear of any older human beings. The mere presence of a person older than 13 is enough to trigger the creature's fight-or-flight response, and it will run away if it sees any adults coming. When running isn't an option, SCP-974 will resort to violence to defend itself. Despite its looks, SCP-974 is much stronger, faster, and more resistant to damage than a child, and it has been known to completely rip adults apart in situations where it felt threatened and cornered. SCP-974 does not appear to be affected by bullets or striking weapons, and the only reliable way to put down an instance seems to be with fire. When infestations are discovered in the wild, the normal SCP Foundation protocol is to attempt to capture the creature, but if deadly force is required, agents will set fire to the creature's nest and a portion of the surrounding area until it has been confirmed dead. before covering up the destruction as the result of a regular forest fire. The SCP Foundation was able to capture one instance of SCP-974 and place it in containment, hoping that having one in captivity would provide insight into the creature's origins. It was placed in a lightly wooded enclosure at Zoological Reserve Site-16, where it immediately started constructing multiple treehouse nests from the plant life it found. Initially, the containment of SCP-974 involved offering the creature live human prey. Once every 3 months, a group of 4 children would be brought in accordance with Protocol 12. The children would be given room and board in on-site barracks, and encouraged to explore the enclosure and play with SCP-974. If 974 had not selected a victim within 5 days, the group of children would be sent away and a new group would be introduced. This system worked for a few years, but as you might expect, the Ethics Committee had a problem with the practice of offering up live children to a deadly anomaly. Now, as of January 1st, 2015, the team at Zoological Reserve Site-16 are no longer able to evoke Protocol 12 in order to acquire children. Attempts to use another SCP, SCP-1680, a collection of clones of a missing 8-year-old boy, failed, as SCP-974 refused to meet them. The procedures then changed to only allow small animals to be introduced into the enclosure as prey. While it might seem like this was a good idea that would stop SCP-974 from killing any more children, like a lot of seemingly good changes to containment procedures in the Foundation, this well-intentioned move would ultimately have deadly consequences. SCP-974 at first seemed to behave normally despite being denied its favorite food. But then, on August 16, 2015, while on their weekly sweep of the enclosure, patrol teams found that 974 had destroyed all of the tree houses it had built in its time in containment. The SCP itself was also nowhere to be found. There was something new in the enclosure, though. A small oval of disturbed soil. A geological team was called in.
Cool. Poison. It's good. It's just well, I'll see you in a month, a week, who knows? But I'll see you then. Talking about cat for a minute. I'm going to pause the video now, then head to that island where I'm building over there. Then after that, I will show you the foundation. So, I will see you when I'm on that island. I'm heading there right now, as you can tell. I'm done filming, so I'm heading there right now. I'm going to pause it now and I'll see you when I'm at that island. Well, here we are. I'll show you what I mean. I built that so far. I built $999. As you can see here, I'm still building down here, and I am still building down here as well. This is the character's office area. Remember what I said? Yeah, this is his office area. The foundation. So yeah. But until then, you know. And I might even report everything. What I mean by that is put actual details. Like this here. Refurnish this area. You know what I mean? Like this. So yeah, until then, you know, no, you won't be seeing, you know, the foundation. Or I might even move it like this and put this back to normal. Who knows? If I feel lazy, I won't, you know what I mean. But if I feel like doing it, I will. If not, I'll just bloody work on the foundation. You know what I mean? So yeah. Just in case if you're wondering what did I build so far, houses, and a park, or whatever you want to call this area. So yeah, that's all I built so far in this countryside town. So, I'll see you when I upload these videos, and when I find a new map for the new character, what I'm going to make. So yeah. Well, see you then.